Simpsons are much more than just a dysfunctional family with wild antics that always find a way to crack us up. They have also made astonishingly accurate future predictions. Yes, you heard that right. This bunch could precisely predict future events, and it even seemed suspicious at times. From predicting the COVID-19 outbreak in 2020 to the arrest of the former president Donald Trump to even unveiling the government's secret plans, this show has managed to prove that it's no ordinary one with an unprecedented level of accuracy. But what about 2024? Join us as we present 15 shocking predictions that The Simpsons have predicted for 2024. Number 15. Music-induced mind control. As projected in the 24th episode of The Simpsons' 12th season, many people are convinced that the government is trying to control our subconscious minds. While these claims might seem far-fetched, it's difficult to argue with this cartoon series judging from its history of correct future predictions. This episode featured Bart, Nelson, Milhouse, and Ralph as the artists of a hit song titled Drop Da Bomb. You might wonder, Bart and his band aren't brilliant at producing music. That did not stop a self-acclaimed producer from picking the four friends to form the next hit boy band, Party Posey. As sick as the name may sound, so was the diabolical plan at play in their hit song. The song had a strange "Ivan etnayo J" line in the chorus. This instantly became a hit track and then spread like wildfire across Springfield, and subconsciously, the Party Posey controlled the listeners' minds, passing a subliminal message. Remember that line in the song's chorus that may have sounded harmless? Well, when spelled backwards, it reads, "Join the Navy." In a confrontation with the music director, Lisa discovered that he was indeed a Navy lieutenant. According to him, music was always a tool used to recruit young men into the Army. While this may sound like cartoon logic, it isn't. During the Second World War, the United States weaponized its entertainment industry, spreading propaganda. The military used cinema as a powerful propaganda weapon, perhaps the most powerful at their disposal. Many people have also been raising questions about the nature of music in this age, with catchy, repetitive lyrics and hypnotic tunes. Have we been silently controlled by the government for many years unknown to us? Will we see this play out even more in 2024? This topic has been a goldmine for conspiracy theorists who exploit the opportunity of such a discourse to showcase their many theories on the subject of entertainment and the government. Number 14. Black hole. If the thought of the government controlling your mind through music doesn't scare you enough, I can almost guarantee that this one will spook you out of your mind. In episode 2 of the 24th season, Lisa mistakenly creates a black hole, sucking everything into it, starting with her tears. Seemingly small and still harmless, Lisa takes this cosmic demon back home to keep everyone safe from it. But as expected, it does not end well. This episode takes us on another wild adventure of this wacky family as they try to escape the black hole that threatens to swallow the whole of Springfield into its endless world of darkness. Despite all their attempts, the black hole still sucks everyone and everything away, leaving just Maggie alone in the remains of the town. As unreal as making a black hole may be, many are still worried that our world as we know it could be on the verge of a catastrophic natural disaster similar to this one. However, according to scientists, the closest black hole to our planet is still 1,560 light-years away. So the causes of this becoming a reality in 2024 are slim to none. But one might wonder from previous prophecies that turned right from this cartoon, is this something to be worried about? Could 2024 bring the end of the world as we know it? Let us hear your thoughts in the comments section. Number 13. World War III. Now let's take it down to something some might believe has a high chance of occurring this year. In 1987, on November 22nd, The Simpsons aired a special episode on The Tracy Ullman Show. In this episode, Homer repeatedly pranked his family with scares of World War III, constantly waking them and asking them to rush into the fallout shelter as though it was the end of the world. Now, whether or not a makeshift shelter in the house of a regular American man would be strong enough to protect his family in case of a nuclear fall is something we don't know. So, we will leave that for the Mythbusters to decipher. While this episode was considered satire, on the eventual occasion that a serious conflict between the world powers begins to play out, many American households could find themselves reenacting the scenes in this episode. As it stands, humanity is way closer to this Third World War than when the episode aired. First, there was a World War scare in 2020 before the virus came. Secondly, politics have led to conflicts in every corner of the earth. Our world is not at peace. Although the world isn't at war, perhaps 2024 could be the year everything reaches its peak and all nations bring out their big guns to wipe everybody out. We hope not. Number 12. Trump's 2024 presidential ambitions. Now this one would make you wonder if the producers of The Simpsons are experimenting with some kind of black magic. Could they be reading the future with a magic crystal ball? Maybe they are or not, but this prediction would give anyone watching this video goosebumps. The Simpsons predicted Trump's 2024 presidential ambition to make America great and glorious again. On Tuesday, November 15, 2022, the former president of the United States, Donald Trump, arguably one of the most controversial the country has ever seen, depending on whose side you're on, decided it was time to reclaim the throne he lost in 2024. As shown in the series, former President Donald Trump showed his ambition to vie for the presidency to make America great and glorious again, making a similar statement to what his fictional counterpart made in the cartoon. At this time, the screenwriter for the series, AIG, decided it was time to shine again, sharing a clip of the series where Homer Simpson can be seen flying past a sign in the background that reads, Trump 2024. What's even more shocking is that this episode aired before Trump ever became the President of America. Number 11. AI World Domination. Returning to an episode in the series where Homer loses his job because his employer replaced all human employees with robots. Episode 17 of Season 23. This event led to the modern-day world, where many jobs become automated daily. We see more and more people losing their jobs as massive advancements are made to artificial intelligence. Is it possible that in 2024, more and more people could lose their jobs to artificially intelligent robots? It's no news that robots serve as waiters in Japan and all around the world. We are panicking about a robotic takeover, which could end human labor. Hopefully the former never happens, but if it does, The Simpsons will be glad to tell the world, we told you so. Number 10. Female presidency. While there are no questions about the effectiveness of a female president, as women have exceptionally proven themselves in the field of politics many times, is it something the United States is ready for? Are we ready to have a woman as the country's #1 citizen? Well, The Simpsons say yes. There have been many indicators that this is another prophecy that is very near to happening, like Hillary Clinton's run, which was almost successful. But the political landscape of the United States is filled with so many men that very few women have been able to walk through the corridors of power that lead to the White House. In this episode of The Simpsons, in the future, Lisa becomes the first female president of the United States of America. The episode shows that the country goes broke due to the terrible financial decisions made by the fictional President Trump. And then Lisa has to bring a tax hike to straighten things out a little. One could already feel the chairs of the producers of this show warm up as the 2024 elections draw nearer. Many people claim that this prediction has already been fulfilled, with the presence of Kamala Harris as the first black female vice president of the United States. The Simpsons could be right again. Perhaps America could be looking at having a woman in the Oval Office. Once again, this is something to be seen. Number 9. Mars Takeover. Remember those movies where aliens come to Earth hoping to take over the planet? Well, this one is kind of similar. While there's probably no life on Mars to fight back, this prediction sees conquering the planet. In another crazy adventure-packed episode of the series, Episode 6 of Season 27, Lisa finds out about a volunteer program organized by the government. This was not a regular volunteer effort to sustain our planet. This was a program to find those willing to risk it all and be the first to go to Mars. Enthusiastically, she did, and so did the rest of the family. Although they didn't go to Mars at the end of the episode because their vehicle didn't start, the end gave a glimpse of the future with Lisa and Marge living on Mars. Everybody knows Elon Musk and how he plans to colonize the Red Planet, having established his own space exploration company dedicated solely to this project. He has been going on and on about it for years. One would wonder why the dates scheduled for the Mars launch in this Simpsons episode resemble Elon Musk's plans. Maybe there could be something the writers and producers are hiding from us. For now, it's safe to agree that it's all coincidence. But this sort of coincidence will surely raise many questions in the minds of anyone who has seen this episode. Number 8. Hologram technology. These days, technology is no longer surprising to many around the world, with discoveries coming every day. But The Simpsons are miles ahead of us. In another episode from The Simpsons, Bart looks into the future through one of Professor Frank's gadgets, and what he sees might just be a prophecy of things to come. A deadbeat future, Bart receives a hologram message inviting his band to a gig at the club. But how did The Simpsons develop the idea of the widespread use of hologram technology? And could 2024 be when holograms become as widespread as the cell phone? We don't know the details, but what can be said is that nothing is impossible in this present world. Though we are far behind what is shown in this episode of The Simpsons, the world already has a three-sided holographic display case that can show a 3D image of anyone, anywhere in the world. DreamIC HD3 Holograms has built this technology, and although it is only in about 500 Best Buy stores in America, it could be supplied more from 2024 and beyond. Imagine sitting in your room and watching your boyfriend teach you the latest TikTok dance from way over there on the other side of the world. How cool is that? It sounds pretty ambitious, but if it comes to pass, we'll always remember The Simpsons did it first. Number 7. Ivanka Trump's presidency. It should have become increasingly clear to everyone watching the show that the producers of The Simpsons are obsessed with Donald Trump and his family. In an episode of the series aired in October 2016, the writers hinted that Ivanka Trump, the daughter of former U.S. President Donald Trump, would run for president. In this episode, Mr. Homer wears a badge that says Ivanka 2028. This could easily mean a wide range of things. Could this be the first female president that was earlier prophesied? Or could Kamala's potential election lead to a line of female presidency in the country? We can only find that in the next 2 presidential elections. Although Ivanka Trump has solidified her status as an imposing figure in the political landscape of the United States, is the possibility of a presidency feasible? But that wasn't Ivanka's first appearance on the show, at least her character did. She was also featured in a 2017 episode where she replaced Ruth Bader Ginsburg on the Supreme Court while modeling a robe and earrings from her collection. This raises questions about whether Ivanka Trump will run for the presidency. We'll leave that for you guys to argue out. Number 6. Hover cars of the future. When the topic of flying cars comes up, it's always exciting to everyone, anticipating the future. In another of their favorite future episodes, Bart and Lisa are shown a glimpse into the family's future, where they see a remarkable sight. In this supposed future, Bart could see himself cruising through town with his dad, stylishly in a hover car. The technology of flying or hovering cars has been on the minds of tech enthusiasts for many decades. But could the coming year just be when we see this new development? Before you dismiss this notion as mere wishful thinking, consider the following. Samson Sky, an Oregon-based company, is set to commence deliveries of its Switchblade flying car in 2024. After 14 years of development, they are prepared to unveil it to the world and fulfill orders. While this might not exactly be a hovering car, this is still a step in that direction. Things like this take time, and perhaps this could just be the beginning of a different mode of transportation. Imagine escaping traffic and road rage by taking to the skies. The lingering question remains, will operating this vehicle require a pilot's and driver's license? That's something we can only find out in 2024. Number 5. Baby translator. Every parent wants to know what their baby is saying. Are they hungry, upset, or just scared? If you are a parent, this next prophecy will blow your mind. Of course, once again, it is interesting that the Simpsons seem to have anticipated the invention of a baby translator in their episode from the 3rd season titled, "Brother, Can You Spare 2 Dimes?" In this rather thought-provoking episode, Homer's half-brother builds a machine capable of understanding and converting baby talk into understandable speech. Some of you might say, "Sure, Mr. Narrator, how will a machine interpret a baby's speech?" Well, it so happens that Zoundreams has created a groundbreaking technology, a software that harnesses the power of artificial intelligence to decode the meaning behind babies' cries. Does the baby need comfort? Is the baby hungry? Or could there be another reason behind their cry? This technology claims to provide accurate insights. Whether art imitated life or life imitated art is left for you to ponder. Number 4. AI goes rogue. Around us, one can already see humans' dependence on using artificial intelligence. Many worry about the risk of feeding these otherwise mindless creations more than they need to know. I mean, an AI is tracking your behavior as you watch this video. Is it possible that we are empowering this technology with the necessary tools to take out humanity? Could we find ourselves at the mercy of our creations before long? Before you dismiss this as an irrational fear propagated by conspiracy theorists, you should listen to this former Google chief engineer who lost his job after revealing to the world that the company's latest artificial intelligence had become sentient. This means the technology had gone beyond fulfilling its dedicated task and could now feel things. Now that's freaky. How does this relate to The Simpsons? Once again, they have seen this coming in their 1994 episode, Itchy and Scratchy Lands. The family encounters a spooky Disneyland staffed by murderous robots. 2024 is still a year behind this kind of occurrence, but we have seen in the advancement of AI in recent years that many eyebrows have been raised about the limitations of these things. What are your thoughts on the rapid dependency of AI? Leave your opinion in the comments section below. Number 3. Economic collapse. Here's another very scary prediction from this cartoon that could make you wonder after watching this video. In an episode titled Bart to the Future, The Simpsons warned us again about a future economic collapse. When it comes to conspiracy theories and where to find them, this is perhaps the most famous episode of the series. According to this episode, an economic collapse occurred during Donald Trump's presidency. But Trump is not the president, of course not, but he is also going for the presidency in the coming election. So, could this be a 2-in-1 prediction with talks of a massive recession just around the corner? Could we see Trump rise as the election winner just to find himself as the president of a country in a time of economic collapse? Well, economic analysts, by studying the trajectory of the economic nosedive the country has taken, believe that America could be on her way to another period of depression. Expert economists predict the United States could experience terrible times in the coming year. But let's face it, this is a common problem. Every single country in the world is going through hard times right now. With the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, the Ukraine-Russia war, and several other conflicts around the world, It's a miracle our civilization has not collapsed. Number 2. Barbie movie release and Trump's arrest. This one has already happened, but due to its stunning accuracy, it's a note to be mentioned, and I'm in awe at the precision of this cartoon. Do you remember when Donald Trump got arrested on the same day a new Barbie movie was released? The Simpsons predicted this many years ago in a Season 5 episode everyone took as mere humor. The scene shows a new channel with reports about the release of the Barbie doll, which also happens on the day the president is arrested. In this episode, a news anchor casually mentions a U.S. president's arrest after a lengthy report on a Barbie doll release. This is shockingly similar to the underreported arrest of Donald Trump on the 4th of April 2023, overshadowed by the focus on a new Barbie movie. This was more than just a coincidence. Number 1. Zombie apocalypse. Certainly, this one here seems like a bit of a stretch, but this is another Simpsons prediction. How can we rule it out? In this episode, a zombie apocalypse takes over the fictional city of Springfield, home to the Simpsons. While the possibilities of zombies taking over the Earth are slim, we can't overlook this one because many of the predictions from this series were considered mere fiction until they became true. Several global pandemics have shaken the world. One of the earliest recorded pandemics was the Black Death in the 14th century, caused by the Yersinia pestis bacterium. This devastating event wiped out an estimated 200 million people across Europe, Asia, and Africa, radically altering the course of history. Fast forward to the 20th century, the Spanish flu of 1918 became one of the deadliest pandemics in modern history, caused by the H1N1 influenza. A virus, it infected approximately 1/3 of the world's population and claimed tens of millions of lives. The need for more medical advancements and international coordination limited the global response, highlighting the need for improved preparedness. In more recent times, the HIV/AIDS pandemic emerged in the late 20th century, affecting millions worldwide. The virus spread primarily through sexual contact, blood transfusions, and contaminated needles. The impact was particularly severe in sub-Saharan Africa, where efforts to combat the disease spurred global initiatives for increased healthcare access, awareness, and research. The 21st century witnessed the emergence of the H1N1 influenza pandemic in 2009. Although milder than initially feared, it led to significant disruptions globally, prompting widespread vaccination campaigns and highlighting the interconnectedness of the modern world in disease transmission. However, the most unprecedented and disruptive event in recent memory is the COVID-19 pandemic, caused by the novel coronavirus SARS-CoV-2. Identified in late 2019 in Wuhan, China, the virus rapidly spread worldwide, leading to widespread illness, death, and unprecedented societal and economic disruptions. Governments implemented strict lockdowns, travel restrictions, and social distancing measures to curb the virus's spread, fundamentally altering daily life. The COVID-19 pandemic exposed vulnerabilities in global healthcare systems and underscored the importance of international collaboration in responding to such crises. Efforts to develop and distribute vaccines became a focal point, highlighting the race against time to achieve widespread immunity and end the pandemic. Hence, we will be doing ourselves a disservice by discounting these scenes as mere works of fiction. But then again, The Simpsons is just a comic series, and we believe many of these prophecies to be coincidental. To see the facts in any of these predictions, we must wait and see how things play out in 2024.